Hello, stamping friends. Brenda Hillard here at Create with Brenda. I have a really fun project for us today, and I'm taking it off from on May 22nd, my team member and I did a virtual catalog kickoff. And this is one of the product suites that we introduced during our kickoff. And I just love this card, and the layout is so versatile for a lot of our different suites in the new annual catalog. So I wanted to share it with you. If you were on with us on Saturday, thank you for joining us. It was a fun day. Lots of really good questions and information exchange. So again, thank you for joining us. So this month at Create with Brenda, I'm going to just pop my May host code on up there for you. And when you use my host code with your online order, and your order is $50 in product or more, I am going to send you let me find it here. I have it kind of tucked back. I'm going to send you one of our silicone craft sheets, free, just for shopping with me. I will be using the silicone craft sheet on this project, and I think if you've watched my videos in the past, you know that I have talked about this before, but adhesive does not stick to the silicone, and it keeps your work surface free of any residual adhesives, whether it's your liquid glue or the Stamp and Seal. So that special, or this host code, is good through, this one right up here is good through May 31st. And like I said, if you place your order and it's $50 or more in product, I send you the silicone mat, absolutely free. All right, let's get on to this fun suite. It's called You're a Peach. And in the collection, so the suite collection includes the bundle, which is the stamp set and the peach dies. The other thing it includes is the designer series paper, which this paper is beautiful. Really, really beautiful. Even if you're not a fan of the stamp set or the dies, you don't use dies, this paper is great just all by itself. And as you know, with our designer series paper, you get 12 sheets of 12 by 12 paper, and they're printed on both sides. So you'll receive 2 sheets of this, where this is on the front, this is on the back. 2 sheets of this, front and back, 2 front and back, and so on. So 12 by 12 sheets, double-sided. Look at all the colors it coordinates with, you guys. Balmy blue, bumblebee, calypso coral, early espresso, mango melody. This is our new in color, pale papaya, pear pizzazz, and then the petal pink. So lots of colors and lots of really bright, fresh, summery colors. So let's show you what our project is going to be. Oh, the other thing I forgot that is included in that suite is these adorable the mini jelly jars. Now, I have lots of ideas for what I want to put in these for gift giving. However, I did have some marmalade jelly. I don't have any peach preserves yet, but I just cut a little piece or a scalloped circle, glued that to my lid, kind of crimped the edges down, tied it with our linen thread, and then I used our double oval punch and just put a little label on there to a sweet friend using the designer series paper. I love these. I've seen people storing their crafting embellishments in them, which I think is a great idea. And I think there's a lot of other things. There's some little candies that I thought of to put in there. There's bath salts. I make a homemade lotion that I love that I can put in there. So I'm looking forward to those little mini jelly jars, jam jars. All right, project. You guys don't ever throw your catalogs out either. Look at all these great card layouts they have for ideas over here. So if you're ever stuck and you're like, I don't know what to make, check out the different products in the catalog or the cards in the catalog that they give us for inspiration, and use those. They're great. Great layouts, great ideas. So let's get going with our project here, because we've got a lot to do on this one. So is what I have. I'll give you all of my pieces. I have a scrap piece of basic white. I feel like my camera is tilted or twisted or something's not right. Anyway, I'll zoom in a little bit and hopefully that corrects it. I have a piece of pale papaya, and this measures 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. I forgot my little sticky for that one. And let's just go through these. So our card base, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. I have a piece of the floral, and this is the one that has the little blue flowers in it. Measures 2 3/4 by 4. I have a piece of the blue striped paper, and that measures 2 inches by 4 inches. I have another piece of I'm going to use this polka dot side, or the white dots. It measures 1 1/4 by 3 1/4. And then I have this tiny little piece of pear pizzazz that measures 3/4 by 2 inches. All right. So those are the parts that we need for this. And then I'm going to be showing you this fun folder set. These are designed to fit in our mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss, but they also work in the full size. However, our full size embossing folders do not work in the mini. So when you're considering purchasing your die cutting machine, if you get the full size, it fits all of the die cutting and embossing products that we sell at Stampin' Up. Where the mini is limited because let me bring it in and I'll show you. The receiving tray is 3 1/2 inches max. And so, being this piece measures 3 1/4, I shouldn't have taken my strip off there, but I did. It measures 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I chose to use this checks folder instead of the dots. And it just gives your paper like almost a basket weave texture. So now when I put this through, I'm going to use my platform 1. My embossing folder is going to go in with the crease first. And don't put your paper right up to the crease. Always keep it back away. And then platform number 3 is what we need to run it through the machine. So now I'm just going to roll it through. It sounds like I have a mouse in mine. It was squeaking. All right, and then it folds up, and how cute is that, right? So that's for these the mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss embossing folders. But like I said, it'll work in a full size as well. So can you see all the checks on there? Isn't that cute? I really like it. I haven't done a whole lot with the dots yet, but I plan to. So now is what I'm going to do is bring our card base back in, fold it in half, and using my bone folder, just give it a good crease. All right, so here comes that silicone mat I was telling you about. And I'm going to lay this on there, a little bit kitty wampus. And my Stampin' Seal. I'm just going to lightly press so that I don't flatten my dry emboss. I'm just going to add some adhesive, and then I'm going to put this to the left front of my card. Just like that. All right. So then I'm going to take this piece of floral and add some Stampin' Seal to that. And that's just going to get placed right here. It's going to stick off from our checkered background just a little bit. Okay. And then we have our little piece of white dot that measured 1 1/4 by 3 1/4. So I'm going to take that and add, isn't this side pretty too? I just love that paper. The peaches look so real. It's like, oh, come on, peaches. I'm just going to add this so that it overhangs the floral piece evenly on each side. And then we've got our blue striped. This was our 2" by 4" piece. I'm going to bring in the pale papaya. This is the woven ribbon, and it does have a little tendency to fray. So when you cut it, make sure that you have a really sharp, I have a special scissor that I use just for ribbon. And then you get that nice cut, and I'm just going to clean that edge up a little bit. There we go. So what I'm going to do is fold it, and I'm going to make like a tab at the top of this one. And our we no longer sell the stapler, but you can use any stapler. I happen to keep mine because I love staples. Especially when I do like my little treat bags and stuff, it works really well for closing those up. All right, so I've attached that little tab with the ribbon to the top of the blue. And then what I want to do is take my Stampin' Seal again. Isn't this paper pretty too? This is without, it's the same flowers, but it's without the blue calypso coral and petal pink flowers. So what I want to do, oh, you know what? I didn't want to put this piece down quite yet. So what I'm going to do is just peel it back. Sorry. Yesterday when I demonstrated it, I cut the wrong size papers. And I think that's why I'm having trouble with this right now. I did want this down. Yeah, so when I was live yesterday, all of a sudden I had to start improvising, and it's like, oh, this isn't fun when you're live. But so there's how I'm going to layer that up. So it's the floral, the white polka dots, the blue stripe on top. So now is where we're at, is we need to start stamping. Our card has all of these fun die cut pieces. So let me grab my scrap of basic white, and our ink colors that we're going to be using are, oh, here they are. I'm going to be using Early Espresso. I'm going to be using Pear Pizzazz, Pale Papaya, the new in color, and then Calypso Coral. All right. And the other thing I'm going to need is this little sponge dauber, and if you don't know about these, you get 5 of them in a pack, and they're just a little plastic tube that fits on your finger, and then you can pick up the ink and then daub it either on your backgrounds or right on your stamps, and I'll show you in a minute how I'm going to do that, okay? All right, so let's start with our greenery first. And as what I'm going to do is, there's this large leaf piece is all one stamp, and I've mounted that on my D block. I'm going to ink it up, so I'm going to move it around on my stamp pad. And then when I press it down, I'm going to just leave it sit for the count of 3. And when I lift up, you'll see that these are variegated, and they're supposed to be like that. They are called distinctive sets so that they shade themselves perfectly so that you don't have to do that work. The other thing I want while I have the Pear Pizzazz ink is there's this 2-leaf stamp with the little stem, and that's for the peach. So I am going to do I'm going to do those, and you'll see that same distinctive look again too. It's not that my stamp didn't stamp well, it's supposed to have those variegated marks in there. So there's the 2-leaf, and that's going to be for our peach. Now with the pale papaya, I'm going to ink up. There's a 3-flower stamp. I'm going to ink it up, moving it around on my ink pad so I get good coverage. I'm going to set that down, count of 3, and lift. I'll leave that out, and then I'm going to open my early espresso, and there's this tiny little flower center. So using the early espresso on the pale papaya, I'm just going to give these little flowers some color in the center. I love how that makes those pop. And then last, I'm going to show you how I ink up this peach, the peach stamp. So I'm taking pale papaya, and I'm inking it up really well. And then with the Calypso Coral and my little sponge dauber, I'm going to pick up some ink by just dotting this around on my pad. And then I'm going to go right around the edge and this edge, and then just right down that little line, that little, on a peach, right? And stamp. And so you get this perfectly toned peach. I love it. So, whoops, that was the wrong color. I'm going to do one more. And give me just a second. I have to clean my stamp here because I put it on the Calypso Coral and I didn't want to do that. So is what I need, and I forgot to tell you this when we started, but being I'm using the pale papaya card base, I want to have a white insert. So I've cut now a piece of basic white that measures 3 3/4 by 5. So I'm just going to set this to the side for a minute. And on the bottom of our card here, I'm going to ink up the peach. I'm going to take my sponge dauber and do that little edge again. And then I'm just going to put that right down here at the bottom of my card. So there it is. Aren't those fun? They're like so easy, but I just think they look so fancy. So now that I've finished that peach, I'm going to bring back in the Pear Pizzazz and my 2-leaf stamp. I'm going to ink it up, and I'm just going to give my peach a little stem and some leaves. How good is that, right? And then, wait till you see. The font in this stamp set is amazing. So I'm going to make this into a, let's see, on the front we're going to put have a peachy day. So I think on the inside I'm going to add a happy birthday. Now this is the happy birthday stamp from the set. And wait till you see how magical this is. I'm using the early espresso. I'm not excited, I can't even talk. But look how pretty. The font is just like clear, crisp, fun. I just love it. Love, love, love it. So that's all of the stamping we're going to do for this card. And is what I want to show you now is how we're going to die cut these pieces. So I'm going to bring in the boss. I'm going to go out just a little bit. I'm bringing in the boss. That's the full size or the big die cutting machine. I'm going to open it up. And you know how I talked about the receiving tray on the little? This receiving tray, and this is why it fits all of, but this receiving tray is 6.5 inches. So it's actually 3 inches wider, and it'll fit a full-size card, where the mini, while it's great for just quick desktop, and if you are a traveling stamping person, it's great for that too. But if you're just starting out in the die cutting world, I'd go with the full size. Platform number 1 for die cutting. You'll need platform number 2. You'll need a well-loved cutting plate like mine is. And then we're going to set this up right on here. And let's grab our dies. So we want this leaf die. And we're going to cut all of this out in one pass. Or one time through. So there's our leaf. Here's our flowers. And what else do I have? Our peach. There we are. So now is what I'm going to do is slide this in. I'm going to press it down, making sure my dies stay where they're supposed to. If you have trouble with your dies staying where they're supposed to because you're just starting, or sometimes they just slip around, use a Post-it note to hold them in place so that you don't have to start over with stamping your images to cut them out. All right, let me move this out of the way. I love how this folds up for storage. And here's our pieces. How fun is that? Wait till you see how good these layer up and how easy it is to do. All right, so I'm just gonna sit myself back down here for a second. I'm gonna bring in our card base. We have one more little stamping thing to do that I forgot about, and that's our little tag. And that was that pear pizzazz that measures 3/4 by 2. So with our early espresso ink, this is going to be that sentiment for on the front of our card right here. And I'm going to I'm going to put my finger right in right in the early espresso. All right, I'm going to ink this up, moving it around on my ink pad. And then I'm just going to stamp it right in the center of my piece. What does it say? Have a peachy day. I don't know, the peachy thing is kind of funny to me, but It really does look cute on the card, so why not, right? All right, so that really truly is all of the stamping. I'm going to show you how we're going to layer this up. So on this one, we have room to use full-size dimensionals in some of the spots. But then we start getting these little spots, and that's where I'm going to bring in our minis. So I'm going to put one there and just one there. Take our backing off. And then this is going to get, because I have my ribbon over this way a little bit, I'm going to tip it this way this time. All right. And then we can do our minis on the backs of the 3 flowers that we stamped and die cut. So we'll take those off. And then I'm going to put one right here. They have like little stems, so you know where to place them. Now I found when I was doing these that the one leaf will overlap the peach a little bit. And then when you flip it over, you'll see that this little stem lays on the back. So as what worked kind of slick was to take a standard size dimensional, and I just pushed it down right there, and it holds the stem onto the peach, and then I just put one more out here to keep everything like level and in place once we place it on the front of our card. So I now am going to take this peach and I'm just going to set it kind of like right there. And then we have our little sentiment that we stamped. And is all I want to do with that, and I need to find my paper snips. I'm just going to go at an angle, doesn't matter, and I'm just going to give that a little visual interest there, okay? And you'll see when we put this across that this part is going to be on the peach, but this part is going to kind of tip down. So when I turn it over by the angled edge, I'm going to put a dimensional. But over on this edge, I'm just going to give it some Stampin' Seal so it sticks down to the body of the peach. And again, that's just keeping things level. There. How cute is that? And now we stamped that really cute inside. Remember the happy birthday with the peach? So I'm going to add some Stampin' Seal to the top. I'm going to center that to the inside of our card, just like that. Now, you know me and bling. So I'm going to bring in some of our rhinestone basic jewels, and I'm going to take your pick tool. I'm going to pick up one of the large rhinestones. I'm going to put one put one right here. I'll take a medium size right here, and then a little. And then when you're putting these rhinestones on, they kind of look like little drops of dew. So I'm going to give my peach just a couple little drops too. there it is. Isn't it just peachy? I hope you love this suite. I have lots of other ideas coming for this. And it makes super cute 3D gifts to give. Remember, my host code is up here. If you need to reach out to me, I can be found at createwithbrenda.com. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.